YouTube, what's good, guys? It's your boy TD, and I'm back again with another live, guys. And today's live is going to be on some tough decisions that you're going to have to make for starts and sits for your Week 17 championship run. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. This is cutting edge content. So, guys, before we begin, I'm going to go through some news items, some things that we need to talk about going into tonight's game and also for the weekend games. Okay, so let me see here. Uh, so guys, I want to talk about this real quick. Zay Flowers, he only had 2 catches for 31 yards against for last night. Now listen, the Texans defense is they okay, but Zay was the right play. The defense for the let me see here. For the Texans, guys, they had a bad game. And so it made where they didn't need to use Zay Flowers. They took him out the beginning of the fourth quarter. He didn't even play at all. So that's game script. And that's what you have to prepare for fantasy. If this game is tight, if this game is 21-10, 21-14, Zay gets at least 2 or 3 more targets, at least two, I would say at least 2 or 3 more catches. I say that, not targets, but 2 or 3 more catches for probably about, 5, 6 catches for 75 yards. They couldn't stop him, but the game was easy. So you got to understand the difference between a bad fantasy start and game script. I'm not going to be afraid of game script. I'm not going to play a guy who can play like a James Cook. A lot of you, we know that James Cook is very volatile, but I'm not going to not play him in my championship run just because if Josh Allen wants to run the ball in every single time and James Cook don't have any touchdowns, now James Cook is a top 32 running back. I don't care. You have to play guys that can boom and can win you the week. So Zay Flowers was a good play. I had him in several championships. I'm in like 7 championships. I'm angry too, but hey, it was the right play. So I'm not. I don't regret it. Right. Let me see. What are some other news that for us to talk about in here? Let's see here. I want to get to. I don't want to talk about last night's game. I want to talk about some of the new things that's coming in. What's up, Johanna Rodriguez? What's going on? I give you a shout out. Uh, let me see. That's a defensive player. I'm not gonna talk about defensive players right now. What's up, Ethan? Let's see. Okay, so let's talk about Trey Benson. Now, I want to talk about Trey Benson because we don't know who's going to start for the Cardinals. To me, it's disgusting. And when I mean disgusting, that means if James Conner plays with him having an injury, how many snaps does he really get? Does Trey Benson come in and get a 50-50 snap load? Like, I don't know. So it's going to be kind of disgusting. Now, if you got James Conner and you don't have a better running back, you might have to go down with that ship. So I understand that. So it says Trey Benson, he practiced in a limited capacity Wednesday. Benson failed to practice at all last week due to an ankle issue before he was ruled out on the Cardinals' final injury report. So he has the ability to log a limited walkthrough throughout the week. They say James Conner got a sore knee, so he's limited to in practice. So we don't know who's going to be the starter. So just want y'all to know this. You got to keep a close eye on that situation. Let's see here. Joe Burrow remains limited in practice, but he's going to play. It's Joe Burrow, so he's going to play. Jaleel McLaughlin for the Denver Broncos locks a full practice in Wednesday, so I'm not touching nobody in that backfield. Javonte Williams, Jaleel McLaughlin. I'm not playing any of those guys in that backfield. Um, Britton Strange is limited in Wednesday. Guys, we know what he did to us last week, so I don't know if you need to go back to that well, but I don't. I'm going to go ahead. If Njoku is active, I'm going to play Njoku this week. I said him last week and made it through some fantasy weeks. So, I mean, through last week, through some fantasy gauntlets. So, I'm going to probably go back to David Njoku. I'm not playing Britton Strange. But I'm not telling you he's a terrible play. but it just depends on what other tight end you have. I'm playing Britton Strange over Kyle Pitts, but that's about it. Jerry Jeudy got a limited practice. I don't know who. It looks like Dorian Thompson-Robinson is still going to be the quarterback. So, you know what that means. That's going to be the only person that I probably want to play is David Njoku and Jerome Ford. Cedric Tillman logged in a limited practice too. Still not playing him. About David Njoku, they says Njoku knee was deemed a non-participant on Wednesday practice. Estimate the head coach Kevin Sylvester said that as of Monday he was ruling out Njoku, who underwent MRI on his knee for Sunday's game against the Dolphins. Look for added context regarding the tight end's Week 17 status to arrive once the Browns return to practice Thursday. So it looks like David Njoku might not even play. So I might have to go to Britton Strange. That's tough, but it is what it is. I don't complain about nothing when it comes to my fantasy football championship. I'm going down with my ship. All right, Juwan Johnson, the tight end, he continues to deal with a foot issue. Tua was limited for Wednesday's practice. Looks like he's going to play. Limited practice time for Tyreek Hill. Zach Charbonnet is going to be the starter. They did set out Kenneth Walker this week, so Zach Charbonnet is a full go. You got to start, Zach Charbonnet. Looks like Luke Musgrave, the tight end for the Green Bay Packers, is coming back. So it's going to be a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. And looks like that Christian Watson could be active for the Sunday game, even though he had a knee scare. It's just a knee bruise. There's nothing else wrong with the knee. So it looks like he could be active. I'm not telling you to play him, but it looks like he's going to be active. Chris Olave had a full practice for the Saints. That's a little bit better weapon for them if he plays this week for Spencer Rattler. Tony Pollard is not practicing the beginning of the week. Drake London was limited yesterday. Looks like he has a chance to play, but he's limited. Aaron Rodgers was a full participant in practice, so we good with him. Derek Carr is not practicing, so it looks like it's still going to be Spencer Rattler. Devontae Adams is managing a hip issue, but he's going to play. Alvin Kamara has a chance to play this week. So be careful with Kendre Miller and, also playing defenses against New Orleans. Not saying Alvin Kamara can take over the game, but he's better than nothing. He can at least give them a chance to score a couple points. Jameis Winston is a limited participant in practice, so maybe he's the second string quarterback, so be careful with that. He could come in at halftime and light it up. All right, guys, that's for right now. That's all. If y'all have any questions about any of the guys, like far as Jalen Hurts, they don't know. Right now they talking about with Kenny Pickett. They saying that Kenny Pickett ribs is okay to play, but it's all about Jalen Hurts concussion. So we're going to have to stay on that. To me, it depends on your team. If you got Jalen Hurts, I would try to wait, but I would have to have Kenny Pickett. I'm not going to wait, and then I have to play somebody terrible like a Drew Lock just because I waited to try to play Jalen Hurts. Usually concussion people don't come back the next week. So let's see what they're going to do right here. They're going to have to stay true because if they let him come back, then people going to be like, is that cheating? Because usually people don't come back within a week on concussion. So just be careful of that, guys. All right, so let's get to some of these players. I wanted to read out that news, guys. I thought the news was very important right now. If anything else y'all want to ask me about, just put it in the comment section. But let's get through some of these players. And I'm not going to take a long time on these players. I'm just kind of go through the list and talk about them and talk about their situations. And I want y'all to be able to frame your mind this way. Because this stuff is fantasy football. There's no 100% anything's going to happen. You just got to go and play bingo. And hopefully your number is called more often than not. But the first guy I want to talk about is going to be DK Metcalf. I got 12 guys for you that's going to be tough decisions. Now, there's other tough decisions out there, but I wanted to get down to the nitty-gritty guys. So DK Metcalf. To me, guys, I'm starting him in my fantasy football championship as a flex or a wide receiver 3. His upside is too crazy to be putting on your bench. Now, if you got like Jamar Chase and Justin Jeffersons and Amon-Ra St. Browns and those upper echelon wide receivers, or Brian Thomas, these new rookie wide receivers that's breaking out, then you don't have to go to a DK. You can actually sit them in like an 18, 10-team league. But in 12-team leagues, it's almost impossible to sit a DK Metcalf who's getting 8 to 10 targets playing against the Minnesota Vikings, who's gives up a lot of yards because they blitz a lot. I think you have to go down with the ship with a guy like with DK Metcalf. But it's all in who you got. If you got better players that's been trending, like a Brian Thomas, you can play Brian Thomas over DK, and there's no issue with that. Don't worry about it. But don't go and play Jaden Reed over DK Metcalf. I wouldn't do that. I'm trying to think of any other wide receivers that I'm not playing over DK Metcalf. Yes, if, like Drake London, I'm not playing Drake London over DK Metcalf. If I'm gonna, you should be making that type of decision in the fantasy football championships. That's another thing. A lot of you make decisions in the fantasy football playoffs. I don't understand what type of team you have. That I would love to do a consultation with you to look at your team. Why are you trying to sit studs? I know you might have a lot of guys, but you got to consolidate. If not, guys, there's always going to be somebody out there that's going to have a better game than your player that you could have had a chance to play. It's always out there. So you got to make your starts and sits easy. I'm going to keep preaching that to the day I'm not living anymore. You got to make your starts and sits decisions easy when you can. It's not always going to be easy. I understand that. Okay, let's move on. But DK Metcalf, guys, it's a tough decision, but I think it's fine to play the guy if you have to. Going on to another guy, it's a quarterback. It's going to be Caleb Williams. And let me see. I thought I wrote these matchups down, guys. I apologize for this. Let me see here. Okay, the Bears, right. Okay, I'm sorry. They playing the Bears. I actually got that wrong. They playing tonight. The Seahawks is playing the Bears. My bad about that, guys. I don't know why I didn't have that. I thought I wrote that down. But yeah, they playing the Bears. But Caleb Williams. Okay, so he's going against the Seahawks. Now let me tell you what Caleb Williams is, and what type of decision that you are making playing Caleb Williams. He has the upside to be the number 1 quarterback, but he also has the downside of being a top 18, top 24 quarterback. So when you start him, you got to automatic. You need to have somebody like Kyler Murray as the other quarterback. And I understand why you would play Caleb Williams, but I'm not going to play Caleb Williams over no Jared Goff. I'm never really going to be able to get to him in the leagues that I have, because I got quarterbacks that I drafted that I'm not going to bench. Now, Kyler Murray is different. I did have Kyler Murray in the Superflex League, and I didn't have anybody to back him up, but I would have played a Caleb Williams over him after he's had 5 or 6 bad weeks. So it's time to make a decision. But just to play Caleb Williams just because he's a little hot right now, and him and Keenan Allen is on fire, no, I'm not doing that. So don't start Caleb Williams over a guy that's been playing very well for you all season. If he's a top 12 quarterback, I'm not going to sit him for Caleb Williams. And no matter what happens, I'm not going to say, well, I should have did this and did this according to whatever stats they get after the game. So Caleb Williams is a fine start, but make him be where, you know what, I'm about to stream this quarterback. My other quarterback is garbage like Kyler Murray. That's what I'm doing. Don't try to say, well, who's got the best matchup and who's targeting the ball down the field the most. That's too much in a fantasy football championship. Just be simple. You see what Pat Mahomes did? That was simple. Now, I told people yesterday to play AR over Patrick Mahomes, and I would always do that because you asking me in a vacuum to play the guy who got the most upside. That's AR. But I would never been playing matchups with Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes, I know what he is, what he's done the last 5 years of his career. And just because he's throwing for 200 yards in a game doesn't mean that he's not good anymore. It means this is how they win in games. If you watch NFL quarterbacks as they grow, they get older, they don't care about their stats anymore. It gets about chasing Super Bowls. And so that's what Pat Mahomes is. So this game wasn't that Pat Mahomes got it together. It was just, oh, okay, well, y'all let me pass. Y'all, this is the weakness on y'all defense. I'm going to exploit it. If it was giving the ball to Pacheco 25 times to win the game, that's what they would have did. So if you set Pat Mahomes, it's okay. Long as you got the upside play like an AR5, I'm trying to think of some of these upper echelon quarterbacks. If you had a guy like this been killing, like Josh Allen, Lamar, these type of guys, let me see, it's a couple more other quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, that's fine. You made the right decision no matter how many points that Pat Mahomes scored. So going back to my point about Caleb Williams, don't stream him over a guy that's been consistent with you most of the year. So, and also context, all this context matters. What I'm saying could be different for your situations, and you still might have to stream Caleb Williams. It's all different. That's why I break it down the way I do. And I kind of like y'all to tell me, what's the essence of your team? Who did you draft first? Right? Who's been playing good for you? All right, let's move on. My number 3 guy is going to be Quintin Johnson. Quintin Johnson's volatile. He's a boom guy. He's playing against the Patriots, so the Patriots will be giving it up because I don't think their best corner is going to be on Quintin Johnson that much. I think it's mostly going to be on try to get on Lad, Christian Gonzalez. I think he's going to be more on Lad McConkey. So QJ can have one big play. Don't chase that. But if you have to play him in the flex, that's fine. Right? Don't chase that type of player, right? Just usually I got Quintin Johnson's and Christian Watson, I don't got anything better, so I have to put him in my lineup, and I feel comfortable playing football that way. Sometimes I won't even pick a guy up off the waiver wire if I know it's going to be a tough decision for me the next week of who I'm going to start. So I'll be like, no, what? I don't need that guy on my team because that's too much of a tough decision. Now, if he's good, now I'm going to keep him and stash him and play against him. But if the guy's kind of like he's a rookie, like a Doomsday, and I already got QJ, I might not pick up the Doomsday because I'm going to try to be playing musical chairs with him, and then I'm going to be missing their boom games. So QJ is a fine start, but know that he can give you 5 points and be okay with that if you're going to play him. I want to teach y'all how to make these choices and decisions and your expectations from these guys, right? Just don't do anything dumb. As long as you don't do anything dumb, usually everything works itself out, and you'll be okay with whatever happens. Let's move on. My number 4 guy is going to be T. Higgins. T. Higgins is part of a great offense. He's the number 2 wide receiver, so that's why he's already a very kind of volatile pick because we don't never know when he's going to go off. But when Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase is on a bench that they are on, then T. Higgins is going to get those crumbs, and those crumbs are elite crumbs. He's going to get those secondhand targets, and that is good. So know that T. Higgins can give you the boom and put him in don't even play matchups with him if you're going to put him in the game. Because usually T. Higgins can only get 4 targets or something like that and give you 65 yards, and you upset that he only gave you 9 points. That's what he can do. So know what type of player he is and play him and be okay with it. He's not going to be a top 5 wide receiver per se all the time. And he's not, sometimes his floor is going to be really low. Sometimes he's just going to be an average player. That's okay. But T. Higgins is on a great offense. So if I'm playing T. Higgins, my mentality is, I'm about to get whatever happens, whatever Jamar Chase is left over from Jamar Chase, T. Higgins is going to get it. I'm okay with that. Even if he don't get the touchdown, I'm still going to be okay with it. That's the mentality you got to have to play T. Higgins. Let's move on. They playing against the Broncos. So hopefully he doesn't get Patrick Surtain will go on Jamar Chase. But I want to hear some of you that talks about what Pat Surtain haven't gave up any passes. I want to see you sit Jamar Chase. I want to see you sit Jamar Chase because he's going up against Pat Surtain, and Pat Surtain hasn't gave up any long touchdowns this year. So you need to sit Jamar Chase. Right. You get what I'm saying. I'm being funny. Don't. I don't give a damn if it's Deion and Jamar Chase. And Pat Surtain guarding Jamar Chase. I'm not sitting on Jamar Chase. That's what I'm so glad this matchup came in the championship. This is the teaching moment. Because a lot of you got, all right, TD, Patrick Surtain is against Mac Evans. Patrick Surtain is against him. Who the hell cares about Patrick Surtain when I got Jamar Chase? I don't got Courtland Sutton, his teammate, right? I don't got these lower tier guys that a number 1 corner can shut down. You can't shut down Jamar Chase. You can't shut down Justin Jefferson. Even if you can, that's congratulations, bro. I'm still going to put him in my lineup. That's what I want y'all to have. I want y'all to be, I'm not telling you to be dumb or TD, or you consider this and you don't care nothing about stats, you want to go on a date with Jamar Chase. No, this none of that crazy shit. I'm telling you to play Jamar Chase because this is a boom player that he can't be stopped. So I thought this was very important to bring this up. Because y'all can feel Jamar Chase, but you can't feel the guys in pause. You can't understand the guys that are, let's say, fringe top 12, like the number 10, number 11, number 12 wide receiver. You don't sit those guys either. Unless you're in an 8-team league and everybody is on the waiver wire. So, move on. Let's go on to Kyler Murray. When he talked about Kyler Murray already, but I want to talk about it. He's going against the Rams. Kyler Murray, for this year, I'm done with you. I don't care if Kyler Murray scores 60 points. I'm not chasing that anymore. It's just like, hey, if J-Lo then told me, get out my face, you ugly, I don't want to see you no more, I'm not chasing her no more. I know it's J-Lo, but I'm not chasing her. She said no. So, Kyler Murray, you just showed me what you are for this year. Remember, it's this year. For 6 weeks, he hasn't played good. I'm not putting that in my championship. I'm not playing him. And he's playing against the Rams, who's trying to go to the playoffs. They probably can win that division and go to the playoffs. So I'm not playing Kyler Murray. I think it's time to move on. So, and you might say, well, Tito, why are you moving on for him? He's your stud. Well, I'm moving on from Kyler Murray. The reason why I'm moving on from Kyler Murray is a game trend. So let me tell you how my numbers, how I work with my mentality. I look for increments of 3 games. So it's the way the world works. And I'm giving y'all some real true sauce here. But I try to look in 3-game trends. That's how I felt about the quadrants. I started looking at the numbers. I'm a good math guy. And usually guys play good within the 3 to 4 weeks. And if for 3 to 4 weeks, if you haven't been doing anything, I'm going to make a decision on that. All I need is 3 to 4 weeks to make a decision. I'm not going to make a decision on 1 week. I'm not going to make a decision on 2 weeks. But when it gets to 3 and 4 weeks, 4 weeks is my final one, is the best data that I can come up with. I'm done with you. I got to make a decision. And it's going to take you 2 to 3 weeks to come up out of that. It took Keenan Allen for me before I started playing him. It took him about 3 weeks of good games before I started playing. I just started playing Keenan Allen in the playoffs because it was too volatile. So going on with Kyler Murray, he's been too volatile. We done with you for the year. And that's okay. That's the decision you got to be good with. Okay, let's move on. I got a super chat from Rash Baron. What's up, bro? Appreciate it. He says played Zay yesterday, and had Henry thinking about playing golf over Allen this week. I think the Lions and the 49ers going to be a high-scoring game, and I can make up the difference. Any thoughts? Okay. So playing Zay yesterday, bro, was a good play. I'm not saying that because I played Zay or because I told you to play Zay. Zay was a great play. That's finishing GoodeSports content for you. Zay is the best wide receiver for this team. I'm telling you guys, when you watch the real playoffs, Zay is going to be unbelievable because Lamar ain't coming out the game unless they blow a team out. So when they blow a team out, Zay, you don't want Zay. Because it's too easy. They're not going to waste Zay on an easy game. They're going to give it to Derrick Henry and try to let him get 200 yards. So Zay was a great pick. It just didn't work out. The game script got behind you. Don't worry about it. You can make up for that. He gave you 5 or 6 points. You can make up from that. And Henry gave it to you. So you squeeze. That's why I talked about squeezing. I talked about that with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, where if Jahmyr Gibbs have a bad game and then you got David Montgomery, you still going to be okay, even though Jahmyr only gave you 6 points. Same thing with you having Derrick Henry and Zay. Squeezing a good offense. You got some points out of that. So it's not going to kill you that you play Zay. He says, thinking about playing golf over Allen. Is that Josh Allen? Because I'm going to tell you no. See, this is what I want to tell you, Rasheed. Golf is a good quarterback, and I understand that he was just your backup. But you know what I would have did, man? I would have traded one of these guys, because when Golf start playing good and Allen give you a bad game, you're going to get almost like it's kind of like humans do within a relationship. If the person that you in a relationship starts like getting on your nerves, and then you go in and you work at a strip club and the girl starts saying, "Oh, you beautiful. Hey, you a nice looking guy. I would love to go on a date with you." That's bad influence. And then you're going to sit around and leave a marriage because a girl told you look good. And that's what happens. When you got Golf and you got Josh Allen, and Allen has a bad week, now automatically you're going to go to Golf because he had a good week. Don't do that, bro. That's why I want you guys to get one quarterback that way, and you believe in him. That way you will stay with him and you will catch the boom games to go ahead and win your championships. Because if you go up and down, both girls are going to leave you. You're not going to have no girlfriend because you're too frugal. You're not nested in one thing that you really want. You just being frugal not frugal, but you're being volatile far as what you're going to choose. So you don't want to do that. You want to be like, no, what? I'm standing on this stock. I got $100 on this stock and I'm staying with it. I don't want to never sell it. That's how you make money. That's how you play fantasy football when it comes to quarterbacks. So I'm telling you to play Allen. Goff is a good quarterback, man. That's why I got Goff on some teams and I don't got no other quarterback. I don't want no other quarterback. Because it's going to be too hard. Because Goff, if he give me a bad game because they ran the ball a lot, then I'm going to be angry. I don't want to do that. So Allen is the guy. He said, I think the Lions and the 49ers are going to be a high-scoring game. I can see that. And I can make up the difference. Any thoughts? I can't tell you to sit Goff. Play Allen. You got to play Josh Allen, no matter what. Great question though, bro. Great question. Got another. My opponent. Okay, Rasheed says my opponent had hearing. Okay, you still good. You okay. That's why you got to play Josh Allen so you can catch that boom. He says was thinking about Goff because rain for the Bills. Okay. But remember, we did that. We did that all last week, man. We did that with Goff because it was cold weather. We got off of Goff when Goff was clearly the better quarterback in this situation. And I was like, well, I don't know about Goff because I don't want to play Goff. Nobody wants to play Goff in a rain game, right? So I understand that you don't want to play a quarterback in a bad weather game. At this point in time, bro, all I can tell you is to pay attention to the weather. Always look at the weather and wait about 15 minutes before the game. Make that decision. To me, man, I would play Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the best weather quarterback in the NFL. And I'm saying this over Lamar Jackson. I'm saying this over everybody because of his style and the way he plays. Man, he's a big country, strong dude. And so if he has to run the ball 30 times to win a game, he can. If he needs to go and throw the ball in the snow with it being wet and throw it over people's head, he can. So I'm not going to get off from Josh Allen and go to Goff because of some weather. I've seen that and I talked to that like, that bad weather. I'm not doing that right now. I can't do that, man. I think these players are good and they're going to be great regardless. So I think you have to go play Josh Allen. Man, this is a great back and forth, bro. I love the question that you answer because it's a teaching moment. Let me see here. Appreciate the super chats, guys. Appreciate it, Rasheed. Yes, sir. Well, Rasheed, appreciate it, bro. You always supporting the channel, man. Glad you found the channel. Let me get to the rest of this, guys, and I'm going to get to everybody comment. So I appreciate everybody being here. All right, the next guy I want to talk about is Rico Gathers. This is a tricky one. Rico has been balling for about 6 weeks. He been balling. He had one bad week. He's going against the Eagles. I think it depends on what you got, but I think he's still a good flex play. But I don't want to play him necessarily against the Eagles with Cooper Rush as the quarterback. Not saying Cooper Rush is a bad quarterback. He's a good, solid quarterback. He's a top 35, 37 quarterbacks in the NFL. That's what Cooper Rush is. But going against the Eagles, when the Eagles feel a little bit vulnerable because of them losing to the Washington Commanders last week with their quarterback being hurt and their quarterback might not play this week, that defense is going to have a great defensive run. So hopefully, man, if you got Rico, you got somebody else, especially with guys like if James Conner missed, you got maybe Trey Benson. That might be a good play. Maybe Tajay Spears. I don't know who else you got if you got Rico Gathers, but I would think twice about playing Rico with the Eagles coming off a loss. That matters in NFL. It takes experience to know this NFL, man. I've been watching NFL for a long time, and I don't give a damn how good a team is and how bad a team is. If a team that came off a loss, this is the NFL. They're gonna be coming to play the next week. They want to destroy what you got going on. So the Eagles, to me, want to take the Cowboys down. Cowboys are kind of high right now. I think this Eagles defense plays even better if Jalen Hurts doesn't play. They want to go out here and win this game for them because they don't want to go and lose their number one seed or the chances of having the number one seed against Detroit. So I would say just be careful playing Rico and make sure that he's the best start from you. If you sit him, it's okay. It's okay to sit him. Some guys that I'm going to talk about that ain't okay to sit, but Rico's a guy that's okay to sit with the matchup, one of the toughest matchup in the NFL. Let's move on. The next guy I'm going to talk about is Bryce Young. I think you can stream Bryce Young this week. I said what I said. That doesn't mean you have to. Remember, I'm giving you the bottom of the Burrow type moves that you might have to make. I'm not going to go to real safe, easy moves, right? Everybody know to play JD5. That what he is now, right? We went through that a couple weeks ago. But Bryce Young, he's playing like Bryce Young from college. That's the reason why they drafted him number 1 overall. And he's playing where he's good, he's mobile, he makes very smart and fast decisions, and that's what he's doing right now. So I like Bryce Young being a streamable quarterback this week. Not telling you to do it, but to let you know, well, TD, who's a guy out there that I could play since I don't want to play this guy because this guy did this and I don't trust this guy and I had Jalen Hurts. If I had Jalen Hurts, I might go with Bryce Young. I said what I said. I might go with Bryce Young. Got another super chat from Mike King. What's up, bro? He said 4 points per touchdown thrown. I need one quarterback from Kyler, Anthony Richardson, Tua. Also the Bills, DST, or Seattle. Okay, let me see here. I got to look at something for the DST real quick. Okay, stick with the Bills. DST. I can't tell you to go to the Raiders. That's a little cute. Even though the matchup looks great, I just can't do it. So I'm gotta go with the Bills. I gotta go with the Bills DST on that one. If you wanted to go with the Raiders, that's very sneaky. I'm not gonna say that's crazy because I get why you stream the Raiders with their matchup. But the Bills, man, they've been a great defense for about 6 or 7 weeks. Maybe 1 week they might have had a down week. Or maybe last week. As far as the quarterback, bro, that's easy. I'm going with Anthony Richardson. I know I had somebody hit me up in the comment section today and said, TD, man, and he was kind of sad that he didn't play Pat Mahomes. And I thought about it. Why would I tell anybody to sit Pat Mahomes? Like, because you got Pat Mahomes. But Rich got the New York Giants. And Pat Mahomes has been winning games however he can win. And he don't care about the 3 touchdowns and stuff no more like he used to. Right? This is a different team. So, it's Rich, man, because of the matchup. We all are high off the matchup, and it's the Giants. That's a real bottom-dwelling defense. So I don't even think this defense could even muster up to even try to stop them. Now, could it be an all Jonathan Taylor game? That's what you would think. But you would think the defense tried to stop Jonathan Taylor for having another 200-yard game. But I think that's going to help Rich. So I'm looking for Rich to have a 1 rushing touchdown and 1 throwing. And anything else after that is going to be cherries on the top. So Rich all day over Tua and Kyler for the upside going against the Giants, who might be the 2nd worst defense in the NFL right now. And I would go with the Bills over the Seattle Seahawks. D-Lion, what's up, bro? D-Lion says, I'm streaming Rudolph playing Jacksonville. I trust that more than I trust Stafford in my champ. Bro, I don't have nothing to say about that. You know why? Because you told me what you decided on. I'm not going to tell anybody how to run their teams. But when people say, well, I'm streaming Rudolph, and I don't know who your other quarterback is, or even if I do know who your quarterback is, you got to tell me, so listen, I made a decision. I'm not high on Stafford. I like Rudolph, and I'm good with it. So I know if Stafford has a good game, I know that you don't care about that, D-Lion, because you made your decision. That's how you got to be. I like Stafford because of Puka and Cooper Kupp, but it seems like Cooper Kupp is not the same guy. I think I'm still going to play Cooper Kupp in my championship because I got Cooper Kupp in a couple championship games. I'm still going to play him, but I understand why D-Lion is streaming Rudolph. I streamed Rudolph last week. Nobody talked about that. Everybody's talking about some of the other plays, but I told people Rudolph was a nice streamable quarterback last week. And it didn't really matter what happened. It was just a nice with the matchup and everything. That's what how this stuff goes, man. It doesn't gotta happen to make it the right move. It can just be, okay, he got the matchup, man. This other quarterback has been playing bad. I gotta go with the matchup, and he still plays bad. That's okay. That's okay. Rasheed with the other super chat. Appreciate you, bro. He says White or Ford and start Seattle defense. I would go with Ford over White. I like Ford this week because I think Jameis has a chance to be the backup quarterback, the number 2 quarterback this week. And I think if DTR comes out and plays again, I think Jameis will come in at the second half at least, and that's going to help everybody. And Ford can play even with DTR in the game. And start Seattle DST. No, I would not start Seattle DST. I would want a better DST than that. Let me see here. Caleb Williams, man, garbage time. He's deadly in garbage time. I don't want to be playing Caleb Williams in the third quarter, in the fourth quarter, and he's down by 14 points. That's a dangerous Caleb Williams. And the NFL usually give up points to teams when they up by 14 points. They're not going to play man to man and blitz you when they up. So they kind of going to give you some underneath throws and make you go down the field with long possessions. So I wouldn't want to play Seattle DST, but I do like Ford over White. Appreciate you, Rasheed. Let's see here. All right, I got a couple more guys. Next, I'm going to talk about Kyle Pitts. This is my number 8 guy. I'm done with him. Let me take me a drink of coffee. I'm done with Kyle Pitts. Not next year. Next year, I'm going to go in and reassess it and take it for what it's worth and draft him accordingly. But this year, I'm not putting no Kyle Pitts. I don't give a damn who I got. I can't do that. You can't be redundant. You have to go away from what you've been doing wrong to show yourself that you're getting better at something. So if I've been trying to build a house and I keep building it wrong, I'm not going to do the same thing again and again and again and again. I might give myself 2 chances. After that one, I got to go get some help. So I'm not playing Kyle Pitts in my fantasy football championship after he got a ball and he talked basically like he's in his own head right now. So I'm not playing Kyle Pitts. I'm done with him. Let's move on. The next guy is going to be Tyreek Hill. Now, listen, I'm going to give you my advice, and I could be biased because I like the way Tyreek Hill plays the game with his speed, his toughness, his jumping ability, being one of the best athletes in the NFL at 5'10". But I'm playing him against the Browns because I don't know anybody that has the type of carte blanche that Tyreek Hill does. It's kind of, to me, it's like Kobe Bryant his last year when he came off the Achilles injury, rest his soul. I'd rather play him over. I'm going to put Kobe Bryant in my lineup because I know he's going to shoot the ball 25 times and he's the pedigree. So as a flex play, Tyreek Hill is the best flex play out here that you can have. So I would just lower my expectation for him and put him in the flex and let whatever happens. Because if he goes for 30 points in your fantasy football championship, you would never forgive yourself. And if he goes for 10 points in your fantasy football championship at the flex as a wide receiver 2-3 where we ranking him, who else was a lot of wide receivers not going to even score that. And he has touchdown upside. So I love Tyreek Hill. I'm playing him this week. As a flex play. I don't think you can have this guy on your bench unless you're in an 8 or 10 team league. Let me see. Okay, Rasheed says need DST streaming suggestions. Got you, bro. Appreciate the super chat, Rasheed. Who I had this wrote down. Okay. So we know the Colts. Ain't no Colts out there. I'm streaming. What defense did I stream? Okay, I'm gonna go through it right here. The Chargers are a decent streamable defense going against the Patriots. The Rams, that's who it is. So the Rams and the Chargers, those are 2 sneaky DSTs that you can stream. It was another one in here somewhere. The Raiders going against the Saints. I'm a little nervous because of Alvin Kamara playing, but the Raiders going against the Saints. That would be my 3rd streaming DST. I'm going to try to give you a couple more. The Cowboys going against the Eagles if Pickett plays. I could see that game being a 17-10 game, right? Because with Kenny Pickett, all the Cowboys got to do is stop Saquon. But yeah, they can still score, but I don't think Kenny Pickett's going to go up and down the field on the Cowboys. It's possible, but that's just a sneaky defense. We're talking about sneaky defenses. And let me see here. The Commanders going against the Falcons. The Commanders, there is a rookie quarterback. Michael Penix is a rookie quarterback. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So that's what I would say, man. Those are a couple, man. Hopefully those helped you out, bro. Charbonnet is definitely could be a league winner. Goat, no Billy. That he's definitely could be a league winner. All right, so we did Tyreek Hill. Let's go to Jordan Love. I'm playing Jordan Love, especially with him having Christian Watson back. And I'm not saying Christian Watson because he's going to ball out. I think it just makes the defense hard to guard these wide receivers. Now, Minnesota guys, they really good against the run. So don't sit Josh Jacobs, but they're going to make sure Josh Jacobs don't gut them. That's the way Minnesota plays. They blitz up the middle, and they blitz a lot, and they're going to stop your run. So they make you have to pass it to have more opportunities to get an interception or a turnover. So I think Jordan Love passes for a couple more touchdowns and some more yards going against the Minnesota Vikings, who funnel passing yards in their defense. They stop the running backs, but they funnel passing yards. So I like Jordan Love as a play this week. I think he's a good guy to start. Don't overthink it. I got two more guys. Number 11 is going to be my boy, like my boy D-Line said, Mason Rudolph. I think Mason Rudolph is a good start. I think it makes Tajay Spears sneaky. I think it makes Calvin Ridley sneaky. And I think Chigo Conqueror is a nice streamable tight end with Mason Rudolph being in there. So I like Mason Rudolph. It just depends on how cutting edge you want to be to who you're going to stream Mason Rudolph with if you got him on your team. I'm not going to sit there and tell you that don't do this and do this guy, because I think Mason Rudolph could be borderline top 12. But whatever you do, make sure you're okay with it. You feel it in your gut. If you're going to play Mason Rudolph over somebody, kind of like D-Lion said earlier. He said, hey, TD, I'm sitting Matthew Stafford and I'm playing Mason over him. He's made it up in his mind. So he's okay with whatever happened. A lot of you take like a opinion from me, but you ain't even sure about it yourself. And then when it doesn't go your way, then you come into me and say, it wasn't a good move. Or it was a good move. When you shouldn't be like, no matter what the move is, it was okay. It was a good move. When you make a decision before the game starts, you got to be okay with that. No matter how many points they score, no matter what happens, injury, no injury, you got to be okay with that. So that's what Mason Rudolph is. And last but not least is going to be AR5. Got to play him. He's going against the Giants. To me, he's the top 5 quarterback this week, going against the Giants. Let me see here. All right, that's my list, guys. Hopefully that content helped y'all out. Listen, guys, I'm learning because I've been thinking, what in the hell do people that's in the championship need right now before I start talking about my 2025 rankings? Like, what do people really need right now? And I said they need to be comfortable making their starts and sit decisions. So I'm going to go over as an echo chamber and just talk about the guys, how I see them, and hopefully we can go back and forth and we can come to a common ground of how you're going to start your players and some advice that I'm giving. So in the fantasy football championship times, in the week 17, I'm going to start telling y'all, I'm going to read out different players going forward for next year about guys that you should feel comfortable with or don't feel comfortable with. Because I don't think nobody's necessarily always a sit or always a start, other than your top 5. Your top 5, top 10 guys at each position are must starts. But sometimes other things can come in and we need to be reassured about that, right? Making that decisions. And I understand that a little bit more and more, where I'm very comfortable with that. A lot of you are not very comfortable with making these tough decisions of who you're going to start or sit. And I want you to be that. No matter that, that's the most important to building a fantasy football championship team, is being confident in who you started and sitting. All right, let's go to some of these comments. Appreciate everybody being here. Yes, sir. I see you, D Lion. Okay, let's see here. Let me see. Igna says, last night was beautiful. I have Lamar on both of my championship teams, and now I am Texas winning in college football, away from $700 parlay due to Lamar rushing yards in Christmas basketball. Yes, sir. Johanna says, where you live? I'm from North Carolina. C.A. Jefferson. C.A. Jefferson says, hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't get this. All messages. Okay, there we go. He's Sam Darnold or Justin Herbert. Sam Darnold or Justin Herbert. I'm going with Justin Herbert slightly, but I think it's a tomato. I think both guys are good, solid starts for you. We're not going to sit here and try to break down Sam Darnold and Justin Herbert, close as they are, who's going to score more. We know that Sam Darnold got Justin Jefferson, and he got Jordan Addison and T.J. Hockenson and Aaron Jones and a good offensive coordinator. So we know that Sam is going to be putting up a lot of value, but we know he's very volatile when it comes to turning the ball over. That's his only weakness, but he's been solid most of the year with that. Justin Herbert with McConkey, hyper-target him, QJ, and he also has other weapons that can come in like Smart and Joshua Palmer that can make plays. And I also think that J.K. Dobbins might be able to play this week. I think they're talking about the J.K. could play. So I think it's tomato. I would say Sam Darnold got better weapons, but Justin Herbert is a better quarterback as far as not turning the ball over. So I will go with Justin Herbert, but if you play Sam Darnold CA, it won't be anything wrong. I know you might be like, well, that's not helping me, but this is what it is. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, Justin Herbert easy, because that's not what it is. It's a tough matchup. These guys both are good. Sam Darnold got a top 5 offense. Justin Herbert got a top 12 offense. Sam Darnold got better weapons, but Justin Herbert is the better quarterback, and he can run out the pocket a little bit. But he's a little nicked up, but he can move out the pocket too. McConkey is great. Quintin Johnson can make big plays. So I like Justin Herbert for a safer, not turning the ball over. But if turnovers don't matter to you in your league, and interceptions is not going to take the points down that much, maybe Sam Darnold is the guy because of the weapons that he have. And usually they play behind those weapons with Justin Herbert and Jordan Addison. Somebody having a big game every week. Let me see. Chasing the back-to-back full PPR. He says Mike Evans, McLaurin, or JSN. Thanks so much in advance. Anytime chasing the back-to-back. So I'm gonna go with Mike. So is it just one? I'm going with Mike Evans, man. I'm gonna tell you why. Usually I would go with JSN over McLaurin, probably two. McLaurin's a top 5 wide receiver, but JSN has got the sauce. But I got to go with Mike Evans because, bro, he's chasing the 1,000 yards. So he's going to get 10 targets. So I'm going to say Mike Evans in this special situation. You got to play Mike Evans. But all those guys are starts. McLaurin is a start. He's a top 5 wide receiver. JSN is what, a top 14 wide receiver for the whole year? So all those guys are starts, but the best of the best is going to be... it's going to be Mike Evans. Ethan says, do you know about Neighbors, Tyreek, and Devontae playing status? I also have Juwan Jennings on my bench, who I know will play. Tyreek is going to play. Neighbors, I don't know about. Neighbors could go down to Sunday or whenever they play. But Tyreek is going to play and Devontae is going to play. Neighbors, you're going to have to stay with that. So if Neighbors doesn't play, of course you would want to put Juwan Jennings in for Neighbors. So yes, Tyreek is playing. He's been practicing on a limited basis, and Devontae practiced a little bit on a limited basis. Neighbors is the one that came back on the injury report, so be careful about Neighbors. Big Will said, what's good, TD? My league plays up to week 18. Will you be doing a live on backups and starters that may sit? Yes, bruh. Also, bruh, you a Phenom member, right? If you a Phenom member, bruh, email me. If you're not a Phenom member, I still got you, and I still will be making content. I'm gonna make sure this year, because I never, like last year, man, I was like week 18 content for 4 or 5 people to be on the live. It's a little bit different this year. So I'm gonna make content all the way out through week 18, bruh, and just be talking about guys that are on like good solid starts, good guys that you should be worried about. That's what kind of content I'm making. If you got a better video topic to give me what you would need, and also other people that got championships in week 18, let me know, man. Put it in the comment section and let me know, and I'll check it out, man, and try to drop those videos for you so you can make sure you win your fantasy football championship. We buy homes near you says in a non-PPR league, start running back, one flex. Ford, Spears, Pollard, Rashad White, Garendo, Reed, and Smitty. So if Tony Pollard doesn't play, I would say Spears. If Tony Pollard plays, I will go with Ford over White. White fumble. I think Bucky gets a couple more targets and a couple more carries over White. Garendo, I don't know, that the offensive line is very volatile. It seems like Debo is going to be getting a lot of carries, and they're not going to really give Garendo the carries that he got a couple weeks ago. So I'm for the running back, I'm going with Ford. But like I said, if Tony Pollard sits, go with Spears. And my one flex would be White. So I would play Ford and White, or I would play Ford and Spears if Tony Pollard doesn't play. So it's all about Tony Pollard, but the guys that you're looking at is going to be Ford, Spears, and White. And see about the health about Tony Pollard. JR says, okay. Let me see. Get that out of here. Ethan says, get the likes up. Big Will says, good advice, TD. Excellent content. Thank you, bro. Thank you. Rasheed says, bro, I played Zay, but I'm thinking about playing golf over Allen. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Any thoughts? I think it is, but I can't tell you to sit Allen, bro. But if you want to do that, bro, that's your team. I'm not going to sit there and chastise that. Everybody needs to be able to do what they need to do in their prerogative on their team. And I always kind of lead that as the higher thing over me. I'm not ever going to tell anybody. But if you start being volatile where you don't know, you're not comfortable with that decision, then I'm going to chastise you. But as long as you're comfortable with the decision of sitting at Allen, I'm good with it too. Because I understand the science to it. It's not bad, but I don't play fantasy that way. I would just start Allen. Mo 8 says, damn, bro, champ week, I got Murray or Golf. I would go with Golf over Murray. Terrell says, what's up, Terrell T? He said, Kyler just had a good game. It wasn't that good to me. And let me look at it, bro. The game wasn't that great to me. Let me look at the old game. Let me look and see what his stat line was. Let's see what his stat line was. Okay, game stats. No, good box score. Okay, Kyler Murray right here had 23 for 30. So that's a good completion percentage for real life. That's killing it. 76 completion percentage. Real life is killing it. 224 yards. Good. No touchdowns. 0 interceptions. You can't be, that's not that good. And I'm not even looking at this fantasy points. I'm just looking at it as a real life. He had 104 QBR, but he didn't have any touchdowns or interceptions. That's kind of what we're talking about. We're not necessarily talking about real life. Real life football is kind of different. Like Cooper Rush is killing it in real life. He might not be a top 5 quarterback in fantasy, but in real life, Cooper Rush has been playing on that level. So real NFL quarterbacking is different. He had no touchdowns rushing. So that's kind of like 14, 15 points probably, I'm thinking right from that. Let's see here. Mo says he could bounce back with the no pressure of playoffs. He could, but hey, at this point, that's why I'll be trying to tell y'all guys to understand what I'm saying, Mo. Bruh, he could go out for 80 points. I'm not streaming him at this point in time. I got too much data for me. For what I've been doing in my leagues, is too much data. I can pivot to something else. And at this point, I'm ready to do that. And so when I pivot, bro, I'm ready for that player to boom. Y'all think I'm crazy, don't you? When I sit a player, I'm okay with them booming. I don't care. That's when I was like, who should I play right here? I'm like, but if he boom, I'm okay with that. If he goes off and I don't have it in my lineup, I'm okay. That's my decision. So I'm okay with whatever Kyler doing. I'm just not putting it in there and saying, "Come on, Kyler, let's go." I'm not doing that no more. Not at this point in time. Um, RG says golf or AR5. I'm going with AR5. The reason why I'm going with AR5, the Giants matchup is too gravy. It's gravy. Golf is a star too. So you got to understand that it's like the best matchup in a vacuum. If you're gonna ask per week basis on a per week basis, AR has got the best matchup. Golf is a starter. So if you got to choose between these guys, I would choose AR5. Usually I don't want to choose that way. I just want to play my guy and just keep playing him, keep playing him, keep playing, unless I have to pivot. Mo says golf or collar. I'm going with golf. Man, what's up, bruh? RG says Jonu, Devontae Smith, or J-Mo in the flex. McBride, my starting tight end. I'm going with J-Mo in the flex because I think he has more upside than Devontae Smith, especially with Jalen Hurts going through concussion protocol and maybe having to play with Kenny Pickett. So I'm going with J-Mo and McBride. J-Mo and McBride. Chef says, what's up, all your amazing people? Yes, sir. Appreciate you, bro. Joe says Burrow or Daniels. I'm going with Daniels. And let me tell you, one of these quarterbacks is going to go off and one of them going to have more points, bro. So you're going to have to decide because you got these two upper echelon quarterbacks who can score and boom. You're going to have to decide which one that you okay with going off on your bench. So if you drafted Joe Burrow and you've been playing Joe Burrow most of the year, then I would suggest that you go with Joe Burrow. If you've been playing Jaden Daniels all year, I would suggest you go with that. Go with something that's going to make sense that you've been doing for the whole year. Don't get crazy in that way. If something bad happened, you be like, "But why the hell did I do that?" So you're going to have to make that decision. Both of these guys are stars. Let me see. D-Lion says, touch. That's tough. Let's see. D-Lane says, I'm streaming Rudolph playing. Okay, we did that one already. Justin said, start 3. Bucky, Saquon, Chase Brown, Jonathan Taylor. I'm going with Saquon, Chase Brown, and Jonathan Taylor. Mike King said, appreciate you, brother. Anytime. The right Brown guy says Josh Allen MVP, bro. He's running. I think he's in second right now, but it's a tight race. They got 2 more weeks to go. D-Lion says JD quarterback 1 and Mason is the super flex. Okay, I like that. Dollar Bill says Stafford balls at home. Pause. Right. And listen, I don't really get into the home stuff or the away stuff, but that stuff does go with these quarterbacks. But to me, it's just all about who's a start, who ain't the start. Stafford, I'm gonna start him. So if he balls out this week, I'm good with it. If he didn't ball out last week, I'm good with it. That's the way this thing goes. So whenever I told people or I start, because I got Stafford on a lot of my teams. Usually, man, because I got Saquon and I got a couple other boom guys. It helped with Matthew Stafford. That's how I draft my team. I'm not really drafting because I know in the 4th quadrant you can have guys like a Matthew Stafford who could be the number 1 quarterback. So I try not to be so front load heavy. I try to get the best players that's available to me. And if I have to go and get a mid-tier quarterback, I'm okay with that. And I start them all season because I know eventually they're going to have some boom games. I don't want to sit them and try to stream another guy at the same tier that he is, right? I would rather just go ahead and keep playing Matthew Stafford. So whatever you got, like Matthew Stafford, he can play good or he can play bad. But I think he's most of the time he's a good start when he has Puka and Cooper Kupp healthy. So if Cooper Kupp doesn't play good this week, we got to go into next year's season knowing that Cooper Kupp is not the same guy. I only want Puka Nakua, and I'm not going to draft Matthew Stafford that high if he plays again, if he doesn't retire, because we know that he had some volatile games at the end of the year with two healthy wide receivers that we thought he could play a lot better at, right? We thought he would be better with Puka and Cooper Kupp. So that's how I feel about Matthew Stafford. D-Lion says, Jaden Daniels already know quarterback won all these. Yes, sir. Ethan says, would you go Tampa defense this week? Seattle or Jacksonville? I wouldn't go Tampa defense this week. All right, hold on, guys. Let me go back. Let me see. Now, I wouldn't go with Tampa defense. I can't do it. I think Bryce Young is playing too good. Um, or Seattle or Jacksonville. Listen, it might be your best defenses might be Seattle or Jacksonville, but I don't feel great about neither of those defenses, bro. I don't feel great about them. If I had to play one of those defenses, I guess I would play Seattle, but I don't feel great about it. Chester says Metcalf or McMillan. I'm going with Metcalf. This is a great question. This is what I've been talking about. I would rather go with Metcalf over McMillan. Going against the Minnesota defense. Joe Gillum says Burrow or Daniels at quarterback and Watson or Spears at the flex. I will go with Spears over Christian Watson. And Joe, this is what I'm gonna tell you: Burrow and Daniels are both starting quarterbacks. I don't want to sit here and try to tell you who's gonna have a boom game. When I see Burrow and Daniels, this is what I see: Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. Who you gonna play this week, TD? I don't know, right? I don't know which one's going to have 45 and the other one's going to have 25. I don't know which one is going to do that. So, to me, I would say play the guy that you drafted early that you are bent on, right? So, if it's been Burrow, if you had Burrow all year and you've been starting them, keep starting. If you've been had Daniels and you had them all year, keep starting them. Because sometimes fantasy comes down to that type of stuff because you're going to be mad that you didn't go with what you've been going with. Because you might say, well, no, I don't care. I just want to go who's going to get the most stats. That's not how fantasy football works. Guys could have easy matchups and not have a great fantasy output. So, to me, in order for you to be okay with whatever happens, you got to play the guy that you've been starting with most of the year. If you've been playing musical chairs where each week you're starting a different guy, I'm not the guy here to give you who's going to score great this week. I'm not that type of guy. I don't see fantasy that way, and maybe some people can, and I sit here and digress to that. I'm not being funny with that. So, I think Burrow and Daniels are both stars. I think you got to go down with the ship. You got to make that decision. Because they both are like top 5 quarterbacks. They both are like top 5 quarterbacks, bro. Appreciate the question, Joe. Rahul says, it's a blank lie. Don't trust them. Whatever you say, bro. Appreciate you being here, bro. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Cutting edge content. Dion says, yes, sir. Okonkwo is starting in both championships game. The homie says Jordan Love or Anthony Richardson. I'm going with Anthony Richardson, the homie. D-Lion says Sharp, Okonkwo, and McMillan about to be my big 3 this week. And them boys are some true sleepers. Charbonnet with no Kenneth Walker Okonkwo balling with Mason Rudolph and McMillan balling out with Mike Evans getting all that attention? Yes, sir. Shannon Sharp says Hurricane or 211. Bro, I came up in the Steel Reserves 211. So Steel Reserve 211. You says Drake London or Jacoby Myers. I will go with Drake London, but you got to make sure that he's healthy. So keep watching to see if he's practicing and stuff like that. So I will go with Drake London over Jacoby Myers. Between James Conner and Jerome Ford, that makes me nervous. The matchup is so good for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to go with Jerome Ford, and the reason why I'm going with Jerome Ford is because I don't know if Conner is going to be healthy. So if Conner is healthy, then I would say Conner, and that's easy. But if he's not healthy, then Jerome Ford is a good pivot. So it's all about Conner's health. This is why we're making this decision. If everybody was healthy, I would say, oh, it's James Conner, and it's easy. So you got to work. It's all about his health, man. I'm not going to sit here and tell you on a Thursday when I don't know what Conner's going to do when it comes to his game day as far as his health. Half PPR. Yeah, I would still go with Drake London. And I will go with Conner if he's healthy. But if he's not healthy, it's Jerome Ford. If he's maybe the deciding factor got to be how many times did James Conner practice this week. If he don't practice enough for you, then go with Ford. But if he practices enough for you, then be okay with playing Conner. That's what you're gonna have to get your mentality on. Mr. 2, you said, would you still start AJ Brown if Hurts is out? I have McMillan and Thielen on the bench. Yeah, I would still put AJ Brown and put him in like almost as like a flex play in my mind. Because you know Kenny Pickett is going to hyper-target A.J. Brown. I like McMillan and Thielen. I don't know if I want to sit A.J. Brown for McMillan and Thielen. That's just me. I'm not saying that's a bad move. I don't know if I want to play fantasy that way. Guys, a lot of times I'm giving y'all the way I play fantasy and you critique it. Like if you was to tell me, say, TD, I like Lamar this way. I'm like, you dumb for drafting Lamar. You'd be like, it's my team. That's why I try to give you a professional opinion and my opinion. My opinion, I'm not sitting A.J. Brown for McMillan. Would I sit A.J. Brown for JSN? Maybe. I might sit him for JSN. I might sit him for Lad McConkey. I'm not sitting him for McMillan and Thielen. McMillan has been balling, but I don't know if he's Lad McConkey, and I don't trust him enough for Lad McConkey because Baker can have some bad games. I say Baker going to have a bad game, but he can. So I would just play A.J. Brown as a flex play. C.A. Jefferson, TD, you the coldest. I'm the game. TD, you the coldest in the game, man. Appreciate what you do and your real approach to this. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that type of stuff. Because you see, and I know people going to troll, but guess what? And I hope everybody can understand this. When I go watch the channels with the Caucasian guys, because listen, my son is half. Like, so I'm not racist at all. But I do face racism head on because as a person, as a good person, I want to face it head on. I don't want to run from it. And I'm okay having debates with people that may be racist. It's their opinion. As long as we can bounce ideals and stand on what we stand on with each other, I'm okay with it. But a lot of times I go to the comment sections and these guys don't be getting these type of trolls. That's why I come hard, because a lot of times it's African Americans just like me trolling me. We sick. We need help. We need psychological help. We all do it. I'm the first one to admit it. I've been conditioned to believe certain things. That's why I approach the trolls. But you love the authentic part of me, and I love being that. I'm going to always be authentic. I'm not going to be crazy. This is a business, but this is my YouTube channel. So I'm going to face stuff head on, and a lot of people don't like it. I tell you the same thing when it comes to fantasy football. I'm keeping it real with you. I'm not going to sit here and always get it right. But I want y'all to go down with the shit. Hey, yep, TD, I didn't play Lamar last week because I made up my mind. I'm gonna clap my hands. I'm like, I like that you made up your mind. Don't be volatile. Don't be volatile. Like, that's anything in life. Make a decision and it's okay. It's like raising kids. There's no perfect way to raise a kid. Make a decision and go down with it. But yeah, I appreciate that, bro. I'm sorry I went on a tangent, but I love those type of comments. That's what I like doing what I do because I'm myself, right? Not that I'm perfect. I think I'm good at what I do. C.A. Jefferson says, might have missed, but Tyrone Tracy or Josh Downs in the flex. I'm going with Josh Downs in the flex. Going against the Giants. Them Giants. No Christian Watson. I can't tell you to play Christian Watson. We're not chasing that. D-Line says, if you had Kyler did not have a great game, laugh all out against Carolina. Hell no, homie. It's all good, bro. It's all good. I get what he was saying. He talking about real life football, hopefully. Real life football, Kyler had a decent game. KD says, I dodged a bullet not starting Stroud. Right, and I told people to be careful with starting Stroud. I started Stroud in the league. I wasn't about to sit Stroud in the Superflex league and play a positional player there. He gave me like 8 to 10 points. I'm okay with it. If I lose, I lose. I didn't have anybody else better. CJ Stroud hasn't been playing good all year. But that's a different video to talk about what to do with CJ Stroud. But yeah, good job, KD. In a redraft league, I wouldn't have played him. Not going against Baltimore. Not going against Baltimore. You playing Caleb in DFS? Probably not. I don't know who I'm going to play. I got to be careful, bro, because I'm in a league with a lot of people. This is big money. I mean, this is like $250, $300 a week. Excuse me, that I can win. So I give out my DFS advice, but I don't want to give out my hand. That way they copy my lineups. But no, I'm not. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I'm playing Caleb Williams at all. Not just because he sucked, because DFS is a little bit different, but I like a couple other little sneaky plays that I got out there. And if y'all are a Phenom member, I can help your DFS lineup. I can help your DFS lineup. Curtis says, first time watcher here. Thank you, Curtis. Appreciate you being here, Curtis. Show some courtesy, Curtis. Curtis. He says, first time watcher here. Need 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. So you need 5 players. So your 2 RBs are going to be Herbert and Charbonnet. Your 2 wide receivers are going to be Mike Evans and Brian Thomas Jr. And your flex is going to be Terry McLaurin. Your flex player is going to be Terry McLaurin. Let me look here. Yeah. So Terry McLaurin as the flex. Your 2 wide receivers are going to be Mike McLaurin. Mike Evans and Brian Thomas Jr. And your 2 RBs are going to be Chuba Hubbard and Charbonnet. Great question, Curtis. Curtis says, I benched Mixon, thank goodness. Yes, I told people about benching Mixon, but I don't think you had to. I think it was okay to go down with the ship with your player. If you've been starting him all year long, he's only had a couple bad games for you. So I get that. Good job, guys. I love that y'all see that y'all making these decisions and you living with it. Sometimes I want to hear you tell me you made a decision and it went bad for you, but you okay with it, because that's what fantasy is, guys. I'm trying to get y'all to understand, not to take out any heat off of me, but to know that, okay, you told me to sit JSN and he outscored Jamar Chase. Why did you tell me to play JSN? I mean, why did you tell me to play JSN outscored Jamar Chase, and you told me that Jamar Chase was going to do this and do that? Well, guys, this shit can happen any week. You're not going to be number 1 player almost every week, but usually you just want to play a group of guys that got a great chance of getting targets and scoring touchdowns and long touchdowns. That's what I'm trying to get. And so whatever after that, it doesn't really even matter, because you made the right decision. We don't know how many targets. We don't know what the coaches are saying. We don't know what they're thinking in the middle of the game. That's why these guys get fired. Sometimes they don't make smart decisions. Quan says, what up, though? Joe says, thank you, anytime. Dollar Bill says, temper expectations for DK Metcalf. Jalen Johnson will probably shout at him, JSN is the slot going to eat. Right. But DK can break one long ball. That's what that's why I got him on the list. I didn't talk about DK that he was going to be a top 5 wide receiver, which I know you saying. I know what you're saying, Dollar Beer. But I wanted to mention him because a lot of people thinking about sitting him. And if you sit him and he score a long touchdown, you could be upset. So know what he is, and if you sit him and you okay with that, that's fine. I agree with everything that you're saying about him. I think I wanted to send him in a couple leagues like last week, but I think I ended up playing him and I still came out and won a lot of those leagues. So it's just all about what you got to back up that player. If you ain't got nobody to back him up, then you just go ahead and start him. I think we did that one already. We buy homes. Chase says always something about race. Bruh, that's life. It's about that, bruh. I'm not gonna be scared to face that because we all gotta grow and we all gotta get along in order to prosper in this world, bruh. So talking about race, I'm not gonna run from that. Right? This is my channel and I wanna be transparent about that. Race is a big thing in this world. That's why we got wars going on because of race. So if you don't want to talk about race, then you want to go somewhere and live in a dungeon by yourself and say the world is great and it's a utopia? Because a lot of people out here are facing a lot of things, man. And you got to admit, just like we had mental getting your mental right. We went through that the last couple of years. A lot of people are now going to get their mental right, man. They talking to therapists and stuff like that because mental was a big thing, man. So we got to keep getting better as a people, bro. And that's how I mean it. I don't think nobody's better than anybody. I'm not a hypocrite. CJ says breach or shard since my kicker gave me 0 and I need upside. Breach or shard. I'm going with Charbonnet with him getting the full workload over breach. My kicker gave me 0 and I need some upside. Yeah, I will go with shard. League is OD PPR league, for example. Josh Allen gave me 86 points, okay, and a couple weeks ago. Right, that's why you got to keep playing Josh Allen. Right, especially in that type of league. So yeah, I would play shard with the. I think he got more upside than breach. C.A. Jefferson says, last thing, the part that gets me about playing downs is I already have AR5 and Jonathan Taylor playing. Okay, is it bad to play many coats in 1 week? No, it's not, but you gave me some context. If I got somebody else that's good, then I might not want to play that many players on the same team. Let me see. Okay, so C.A. Jefferson says, if you don't get it, Chase, you don't get it, and that's cool too. If you don't get it, Chase, let me see. Right. Thank you, C.A. Jefferson. I got somebody finally speaking up in the chat. Sometimes, guys, y'all are the one that runs the trolls away. You got to let them know we ain't playing that here, bruh. You think we gonna sit here and let you sit here and chastise TD when you ain't saying nothing that's perspective? Like, hey, TD, I like this guy. You wasn't on this guy, but I liked it. Like, you ain't making no point. You out here trying to troll. C.A. Jefferson calling that stuff out. That's how you control the trolls, because you coming in here. Ain't nobody in here talking about what you talking about, bruh. You gonna be here by yourself and get blocked. But I'm glad you understand, C.A. Jefferson, what I mean when I talk about the race, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate the understanding. Curtis says, that's crazy. That's exactly like I have my lineup right now. We are on the same page. Okay. Judah said, do you play DFS? Yes, sir, bro. I've been smashing it. I've been killing DFS this year. Started mixing, shaking my head. Hey, that wasn't a bad start, bro. You had to do what you had to do. Don't get mad at yourself. I know that's kind of disingenuous, but don't get mad, bro. What you gonna do? Sit mixing? You gonna sit mixing just because, well, it's Baltimore? No, he's a top 5 running back. I get it. But I told people, if you wanted to consider doing it, I like to put that, at least the ideal in your mind. Okay, yeah, I can make that move, but am I going to make it? That's what you got to do. Are you going to make that move? So it's my job to tell y'all, listen, Mixon might have a bad game. What you going to do here? It's up to you. You can start him, whatever. I know that about Tyreek. I know he's going out there every week. He's probably going to get like 10 or 14 points. But I'm like, if I sit him and he go off, I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be real angry. So that's how you got to make that decision. So, bro, you didn't make no bad move, Macho. Now put it in Charbonnet overhaul. Yes, Charbonnet overhaul. Got a super chat. Let me see what the super chat says. From CJ. Appreciate you, CJ. Okay, well, I'm going to read your messages below because it didn't put it in there, but you still super chatted. He says, do you think Addison could go off for the flex versus Charbonnet in my lineup? Oh, you good, bro. Yes, I like Addison, but I can't play him over Shard. Shard got the full workload by himself. No matter what he does, bro, that's a great start. Now, sometimes you be like, damn, I know Addison going to go off, but Shard has got the whole backfield to himself. Sometimes you have to play that type of guy. And even though you know Addison. Now, you can get really, really cute and say, you know what? I'm on Addison, even though he's going to be catching a lot of passes. And I'm going to sit Shard, even though Shard going to get a bunch of carries, but I don't think he's going to score. That's a tough-ass call to make. I'm usually going with the running back who's got the full workload by himself, who's proved that he can play good by himself, who probably going to have the job by himself next year. So that's what I would go with the running back. But I do love Addison, man, and he got a special role in this offense. Jordan Addison, Devontae Smith, and a couple more other wide receiver tools are really good to have because usually their number one is going to get double teamed. And so when that number two start eating, he's going to eat easily. Okay. Eddie Phillips says, what up, TD? My man, I started mixing last night, but went up against the Collins, so no big deal. Right. I like the way you see that. I'm still going to boom. Right. He says, in the final, in all three of my leagues this year, man, with your help. Thank you, bro. Yes, sir. I'm glad I can help you out. He says, man, you the best fantasy football channel on YouTube. I said what I said. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I can take what I get. I know I ain't the greatest at everything, but I take what I can get. Thank you, bro. Judah says, that's why I don't like having too many star players. Right. Rather piece guys together for a superstar tier players, maybe like 1 or 2 stars for depth. Right. I agree with you, what you're saying, Jude. First, I thought you was being funny, but yes, I agree with that. I like to have my studs like, my first 3 or 4 round studs. But then after that, man, I don't like picking up guys that was playing bad, like a Calvin Ridley. Now I'm making the decision between Calvin Ridley and Brian Thomas Jr. in the beginning of the season. You see what I'm saying? So, to me, I want to, you know what? I drafted Brian Thomas Jr. in the 7th round. TD, Calvin Ridley on the waivers, I might pick him up, but guess what? I'm not going to play him against Brian. I'm starting Brian Thomas Jr. You're going to start Brian Thomas. He only had 8 points. Man, he a beast. Now when I tell people he a beast, yeah, he a beast. Why you say he a beast? Because of his stats. Listen, I know that stats does matter, but you got to understand the way I see the game as a scout. I'm trying to give you the guys that's going to be booming, even though they ain't booming at that point in time. You got to be able to see that then, just like a stock market. You got to be able to see Google and say Google going to be special one day because we all going to be streaming. So you can't call me crazy in 1995 or 97 for saying that, oh, Google is going to be the best stock ever. This dude is crazy. You see this dude? Look at him. Look at him sitting on camera. Look at with his big head and he this and he that. That's what's happening. I've been giving Googles every year. I got to do is check my catalog. Brian Thomas Jr. I said he was the best wide receiver in this draft. So, yes, I don't get too much depth on your team because that team is going to be volatile as hell. We by home says, my bad, brother. I believe I stepped away from the computer when you answered the questions. Who were 2? Bro, you're going to have to put that question back in there. I can't go back up in the chat because my battery was going dead, so I want to make sure I get to everybody comment. But it might have been defenses that you was talking about. And I think I said I like the Raiders and the Cowboys and the Commanders. Another super chat from CJ. He says, one more just because. Have a great day. Appreciate that, bruh. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We by home says, okay, we did that one. CJ says, thank you. Wish caught you at the beginning of the season. I'll definitely be watching next year. Yes, sir, bro. I had a lot of great picks. I'm telling Saquon. I said that Saquon was going to be the number 1 RB. Not top 5. Number 1. I said I don't care about what Jalen Hurts is doing. So I just want you to know what type of content I provide. That's my specialty, man. I'm telling you, if you pick the players that I tell you to pick in the beginning of the year, bro, your team is automatically going to be slated for the championship. Automatically. Lamar, those are my niches of things that I do, man. So I appreciate you being here, CJ. C.A. Jefferson, so that's where I'm thinking Tracy over Downs despite the ankle injury. Okay, so that's where I'm thinking Tracy over Downs despite the ankle injury. Right. And garbage time PPR points from Tracy. Okay, I see what you're saying, CA. I see what you. Yeah, you don't want to overdo it on the Colts, especially with Jonathan Taylor having a good game, and then AR, it might not be nothing left for Josh Downs. So I get what you're saying. That's what happened to me last night with the Baltimore Ravens. After Derrick Henry and Lamar got it, wasn't nothing left over for Zay. The game was over. They was up 30 points. He said, "Do you think Addison could go off for the flex versus Sharp in my starting lineup?" Yes, I do think Addison can go off, but I think Sharp is the best start. What do you think is wrong with Tyreek? Nothing. I think that Tua is not right, and they don't want to throw Tua on the bus. Tua is not pushing the ball. He's scared to stay in the pocket and push the ball downfield. Also, that offensive line is not the same. They got to go and upgrade that offensive line. They've spent a lot of money on the wide receivers and A-Chain and all these guys. They got to go spend some money on that offensive line. That's the last thing. They ain't spent no money on that offensive line in 2 years. They bought defensive players. They got a pretty good, decent defense. They got a great offensive weaponry, but they don't got the offensive line to protect the guys. So they got to go out and invest in some offensive linemen to help protect Tua so he can push the ball downfield to Tyreek. And, bruh, Tyreek get traded, it's going to be even better. Even though Tyreek is older, he still can play. He's still fast. He still can play. Imagine says facts. Play your star players. Right. CJ said, yeah, that part. Thank you. David says CJ is straight. Yeah, he looks bad, man. He's going through a lot. He looks bad. I ain't gonna say he's but he hasn't been playing good. Imacho says Charbonnet is a type player that will win you the league. He's the type of player that can win you a league. Facts. And We Buy Home says, here's the question again. In a non-PPR star or one running back, one flex, Ford. Okay. So the one running back I would start would be Ford, but I would start Spears if Pollard is out. The one flex would be White or Ford, depending on what's going on with Tony Pollard. So if Tony Pollard misses, then it's going to be Spears and Ford for you. If Tony Pollard plays, then it's going to be Rashad White and Ford. Sonic says, people acting like Jalen Johnson can't be primarily on JSN too. Right. He's going to have to be all over. It's a lot of guys that they can go off on the south with, two guys and Zach Charbonnet. Aaron Holloway, what's up, bro? He says, hey, TD, since Hurts will be out, who would you stream at quarterback? Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Bryce Young? Bryce Young. Listen, break it down for you, man. I'm going with Bryce. He's been on fire. Drake May got a tough matchup, and Caleb Williams is volatile. I think Bryce Young is less volatile than Caleb Williams this year. He don't have the ceiling that Caleb Williams has, though. So who has the highest ceiling is Caleb Williams. Bryce Young is the safest, but he could also boom too, but he's more of a safe play. I like Bryce Young the way he's been playing, the way he's looked when I'm watching with my eyes. Better than Drake May and Caleb. Drake looks good, but he don't have any weapons. Dean James Talley says, fire up Charbonnet over Smith. Yes, sir. Curtis! Show some courtesy, Curtis. Curtis G with the super chat. He says, keep up the hard work. We appreciate the content. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you. Mr. Skrilla said, what's up, my boy? What's up, bruh? He says, gotcha, TD. And Silence says, Cup is a wide receiver handcuff for Puka now. Cup isn't a must-start weekly anymore. And I'm okay with you saying that. I'm giving him 1 more week, bruh. It's 2 weeks. He got the 0 and then the 3 points. I'm going to give him 1 more week. I'm giving him 1 more week. After that, then I'm moving on from that Cup thing. But I got to give him 1 more week because I'm pretty sure they want to get Cup some targets. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I will be probably going live tomorrow, too. I'm going to try to do some videos. That hits the algorithm a little bit different. But I appreciate you guys. Y'all guys be safe. Peace.